Welcome, dear listener, to another quiet story from WhisperVale, where gentle tales remind us that peace and purpose grow not from rushing to finish, but from learning to love the path we take. So take a slow breath, let the world soften around you, and listen to the story of the Potter's Secret, a tale about patience, process, and the beauty of becoming. In a small, sunlit village by the riverside lived a young potter named Kai. His workshop was filled with clay, tools, and dreams of making the most beautiful vase the village had ever seen. He would wake up before dawn, roll up his sleeves, and begin shaping the clay on his wheel. But every time he finished a pot, he'd frown, shake his head, and toss it aside. "It's not perfect," he'd mutter. "The base isn't smooth enough. The curve isn't even. I need to start again." Days turned into weeks, and his shelves filled with broken pieces. Vases cracked at the rim, bowls half finished, cups with missing handles. Still, Kai pushed himself harder, working long into the night, believing that only a flawless piece would bring him success. One morning, as he worked under the soft golden light of sunrise, a quiet old traveler appeared at his door. Her name was Ira, an elderly potter known in many towns for her elegant, simple wares. Bowls that felt alive in the hand, vases that carried warmth like sunlight. She watched Kai for a while, his brows furrowed, hands trembling with frustration, and then said gently, "Your clay spins fast." "Young one, but your heart spins faster." Kai stopped the wheel, confused. "I'm just trying to make something perfect," he said. "Every time I finish, I see a flaw. I want my work to be the best." Ira smiled, her eyes crinkling like folded silk. "Perfection is not born from speed or fear," she said. "It grows quietly, like a flower, not because it rushes, but because it opens." She reached for a lump of clay beside him. Without measuring or planning, she began to shape it with slow, sure hands. Her movements were calm, not forceful, not hesitant, as if her hands were listening to the clay itself. When she finished, she held out a small cup. It wasn't flawless, the rim was uneven, a little crooked, but it felt alive. "Why don't you make something like this?" Kai asked, surprised. "You could fix the shape, polish it, make it perfect." Ira chuckled softly. "If I keep fixing it, I lose what it's trying to become." She placed the cup down beside his broken pots. "You're chasing results so hard that you've forgotten to feel the process. The clay doesn't need control, it needs care. Just like your dreams." That night, Kai didn't make another vase. He sat quietly by the river, thinking about her words. The sound of the water seemed to echo her voice. Perfection grows quietly. The next morning, he returned to his wheel, but this time he didn't hurry. He let the clay spin slowly beneath his hands. He felt the cool texture, the rhythm, the softness. When the clay wobbled, he smiled and guided it gently instead of forcing it. Day after day, he worked not to finish, but to enjoy. His hands grew steady, his heart lighter. He began to hum while shaping his pots, each movement flowing like breath. And without even realizing it, his pots became beautiful, not because they were flawless, but because they were full of patience, peace, and love. Months later, at the village festival, people gathered around his stall, admiring his work. The surfaces were smooth, the forms graceful. But more than that, each piece carried something soft, human, and real. A child picked up a bowl and said, "It feels warm." And in that moment, Kai understood what Ira meant. The warmth wasn't in the clay, it was in the care he had poured into every turn of the wheel. This story reminds us that joy doesn't live at the finish line, it blooms quietly in the steps we take to get there. When we rush for results, we fill our days with worry and our hearts with noise. But when we slow down and give our full presence to the process, to learning, creating, failing, and trying again, life becomes gentler. The process is the masterpiece. The journey is the reward. So, whether you're building a dream, learning a skill, or finding yourself, remember Kai's lesson, don't hurry the clay. Let it teach you its rhythm. Because in the stillness between each turn of the wheel, you'll find something more beautiful than perfection. You'll find peace. Thank you for spending this quiet moment in WhisperVale, where stories remind us to breathe, to slow down, and to find happiness not in what we complete, but in how gently we grow. If this tale brought calm to your evening, please subscribe and stay for more stories softly told where every word carries a little light.